'cause I want it all, anyway at all. Thought I missed it by waiting for the game respawn, for the lost and found, for the home alone, and for you to come home, you to come home. I let you in, it ain't a sin, with all these simulations. Should be fixed now, will take a while to get rid of. I'm sorry, all we can see the good that we had, Jenny. I'm waiting for the curtain call, 'cause I want it all, anyway at all. Thought I missed it by waiting for the game respawn, for the lost and found, for the home alone, and for you to come home, you to come home. I let you in, it ain't a sin, with all these simulations. Should be fixed now, will take a while to get rid of. I'm sorry, all we can see the good that we had, Jenny. I won't let my feelings play a game, so I might as well remove your name. Jenny, you will not stay the same, but I'll be waiting here until the end, till the end, until the end. I let you in, it ain't a sin, with all these simulations. Should be fixed now, will take a while to get rid of. I'm sorry, all we can see the good that we had, Jenny. I won't let my feelings play a game, so I might as well remove your name. Jenny, you will not stay the same, but I'll be waiting here until the end. I'm waiting for the curtain call, 'cause I want it all, anyway at all. Thought I missed it by waiting for the game respawn, for the lost and found, for the home alone, and for you to come home, you to come home. I let you in, it ain't a sin, with all these simulations. Should be fixed now, will take a while to get rid of. I'm sorry, all we can see the good that we had, Jenny. I'm waiting for the curtain call, 'cause I want it all, anyway at all. Thought I missed it by waiting for the game respawn, for the lost and found, for the home alone, and for you to come home, you to come home. I let you.
All right, guys, we are back. I know we took last week off. In all honesty, I was not feeling good, like, at all. And we've been through this before. I've not felt good for like 3 years. But nevertheless, I just had to take last Tuesday off. I appreciate you being here tonight, though. We are back. Welcome to the Steve Freeman Podcast. I had an interesting weekend. I learned something that I didn't know about myself this weekend. I learned that I am not a skier. Yeah, so the family, we planned this trip with several families that go to my daughter's school. And they all go every year, and we were invited this year. I guess that's how you finally know you made the cool kids club. You get invited on the ski trip. So we went on the ski trip, and in all honesty, I had every intention of getting out there and trying it. You know, trying the snowboarding, trying the skiing, trying all of that. I had every intention of it. Didn't do it. I'm just at this point in my life where I feel like, okay, I just turned 42 years old. I've got more years I'd like to live. I've got things that I still want to accomplish. I've got things that I want to do. How can I do that if I'm, like, paralyzed? Because, you know, I wanted to try skiing at 42 years old. So I did not partake. Now, my youngest daughter, Chloe, is, 12? And she is just naturally athletic. Like everything she does. Star volleyball player, great basketball player, just anything. She was a gymnast, a competitive gymnast. We traveled all over the United States. She won all kinds of stuff in gymnastics. Got tired of that. Did volleyball, basketball. So skiing just came natural to her. And of course, she was great at it. Just took right to it and was rocking and rolling. My oldest, Mackenzie, she's more like me. She's more like, I could do it. And I know that if I put the skis on, I'd probably be excellent at it because I'm good at everything that I do. She takes after her dad. But in the same vein, she also is like, no, I don't think so. So we kind of hung around the lodge and kind of did that kind of thing. I bought the new, I've talked about this before. I'm a huge Sony camera fan. And so I bought the new Sony RX100 Mark VI. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to do any skiing. I'm not going to do any of that. This will be a great opportunity to try to get some new footage, with the new camera and everything. So I took the camera and tried to get as much footage as humanly possible. What I didn't know is that there are signs all down by the lifts and everything else, and the small hills, the diamonds, all the different variations, is that if you didn't have equipment on, you're not allowed to go out past, like, 5 feet past the lodge. So I ended up taking pictures, like, from the deck of the lodge and all that kind of stuff. It was, it was good just to get out of Nashville. I'll just say that. I didn't do any skiing, but it was good just to get out of Nashville, get out of town for a little bit. My mind I was telling my wife today, my mind has just been, I don't know what is going on with me, but I'm having a hard time getting the ball rolling this year. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it has to do with my health and I've not been feeling well and I've got so many other things going on and I feel like I'm spread really thin, but I've had a hard time getting the momentum going. I don't know about you guys. Is anybody watching or listening out there? Pop it into chat. I'd like to know if I'm just the only one or am I on this island out here by myself. I don't know. 2019's been a great year so far. I have nothing to complain about. Nothing whatsoever. But I just feel like it's been hard for me to get and stay motivated. But I'm trying. I did go to I went to the doctor last week. I said, forget it with all the Vanderbilt clinic stuff and all that. I'm going to the doctor, the real actual doctor, not saying that the people at the Vanderbilt clinics are not doctors, but you know what I mean? Your primary care physician. So, and it's been like 3 or 4 or 5 years. Well, it's been longer than that because the address they had on file for me was where we lived like 7 years ago. So that's how long it's been since I've been to the doctor, the real doctor. So I went, and he's like, look, and I described all the issues I've been having and the problems. And I said, look, I don't care what this costs, because this is another thing we could get into. But we have insurance on the girls, but Stacy and I, we don't. We went through the whole process. We had it. We had Blue Cross Blue Shield, loved it. And because of Obamacare, I'm not getting into political stuff here, but because of Obamacare, Blue Cross Blue Shield pulled out of the state of Tennessee. So we lost that, and then we were going to go through the marketplace, and we did that. Then we found out the insurance we bought doesn't cover a damn thing. Nothing. It just cost an outrageous fortune, and it doesn't cover anything. So we got rid of it altogether like 3 years ago. And if you've ever been in this situation and you've made the choice to not buy or purchase insurance, then you've been through this before, where anytime you need to do anything medical, you are treated like absolute trash. Like they look at you with like this scorn and this scourge, like you are the bottom of the barrel, because how dare you not spend $2,700 a month on insurance? And I tell all these people every time I go, because I feel, they put you in that position. You feel like you have to defend yourself, like for whatever reason, like you've got to. And I said, and I told this lady the other day at the doctor, I said, look, this is a personal decision. It's not a financial decision. I can afford insurance. I have no problem with that, but it doesn't cover anything. It used to, it doesn't anymore. And when I did my fiscal responsibility and looking at what we spend on healthcare every year amongst our family, we spend like 8 times more if we had insurance. So I went through all that, and anyway, got all that settled, and I was talking to the doctor, and he said, look, we're going to get this solved for you. We're going to get you with an allergist. We'll get you with an ENT. Whatever we got to do, we're going to get this problem solved. And he put me on a steroid pack the day before we left for this ski trip. And I have felt great since like last Thursday. I have felt amazing. I got to take one more pill tonight, and then, that the steroid packs, they wean you off of them. And so I'm loving the new doctor. His name's Dr. Gary Smith here in Nashville. Love this guy. Love everybody in his office. His wife is also a doctor in the office. So I'm sitting there, and he goes, well, is like this it? Is this your only, is this the problem? I said, Doc, if we can fix this, then I'm good to go. And he said, nothing else. And I thought, well, while I'm here, I said, I've got this place right here, and you can probably see it right here on my face. And he goes, oh, that's a blah, 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 blah. And I assist of some, and I said, actually, Doc, it's not. And he goes, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, that was about 6 years ago. I thought that I had an ingrown hair on my face. So I thought, being the big badass self that I am, I'm going to perform surgery on myself. So I did that. I went to the drawer. I got a needle. I got, what are those things called? Tweezers. I got them. I took out my old Zippo lighter, and I flicked that thing open, and I burnt those things for like 30 seconds. And then I let them cool off, and then I started doing surgery on myself. And and I said, that's the only other thing with me. I said, he goes, well, hold on. My wife's a doctor. She's here in the office. Let me come get her and let her take a look at it. So she walks in. And she looks in, she goes, oh, well, that's a blah, 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 whatever, cyst, like the doctor said, like Dr. Smith said. And the doctor goes, actually, that is Steve doing surgery on himself. That is, and he goes, you don't ever do that. He goes, you see that in the movies, but you don't ever really do that. Well, she looked at it and she goes, well, I can take care of it for you, and I can schedule it and get you in, and we can, I have to cut it. And she looked at me and she goes, but you're going to have a scar. And the doctor, I swear, looked at her and goes, he is in the entertainment business. A scar on his face will probably give him a better reputation. We'll give him street cred. And I looked at you. I said, Dr. Smith, you are actually 100%. She looked at me again. She goes, are you sure it's going to leave a scar? I said, I don't care. So, folks, tomorrow, your boy is going under the knife. I am going to the doctor tomorrow, and she is going to take care of this self-surgery that I did on myself so long ago. But I say all that to say that I can sit here tonight and tell you guys that I 100% feel better than I have probably felt in 3 or 4 years. And, you know, it really does make a difference when you go and you see a physician, a doctor that really cares about the patient and really wants to get the problem solved. And they've scheduled me to set me up with an allergist to find out exactly what I'm allergic to and all that. And I have to say, it kind of restored my whole faith in the healthcare system. And even better than that, when I got up to he had seen me, and we went through all that. Then his wife came in and saw me and scheduled. She got me all scheduled for the outpatient surgery for that. And she said, it's going to take me an hour. It's going to cost $400. I'm like, I don't care what it costs. Let's do it. All of that. And I get up to the counter to pay. And the girl sitting behind the counter, she goes, that'll be $50. And I looked at her and I was like, I said, you're kidding me, right? I mean, I just saw 2 doctors. One's a specialist. And she said, no, that's all it is. It's $50. So, which further, you know, there again, every once in a while, it's like I said, every time this tax time comes around and you have to fill out that little box, you know, that since, you know, we were so fortunate that Obama made the IRS responsible for the healthcare system and being accountable. Although I think this is the last year you have to pay the penalty. But every time this year you look at it and you go, okay, I have to pay like $2,300 in penalty, but that's a lot less money than I would have had to pay if I were paying the $2,700 a month that they wanted for the insurance for my family. So anyway, I say all that to say, like I said, it was just nice to kind of have my faith in the healthcare system renewed a little bit. So I'm going under the knife tomorrow. Going to go do that. Looking forward to that. I cannot believe that I did that, but I did, folks. I mean, it was like something out of like, what was that movie that Leo DiCaprio did? I mean, it was something. It was like Redemption or whatever it was. It was. I swear to God, it was like a scene out of that movie. I just took that Zippo out and I thought, well, you know, okay, it's an ingrown hair. I can deal with it. I can grab the tweezers and I can do the needle and okay. Don't try this at home. Don't ever do that. Go to your doctor and take care of it that way. That's all I'm going to say. But it feels good to be back. We were off last week because I wasn't feeling well, but I'm back and better than ever now. Glad to have you guys here with us. Do have a couple things that I want to talk about tonight. I want to get your opinions on as well. But if you have anything that you want to talk about for sure, you've got a question or you've got a comment, you've got a subject matter that you want to talk about, I would absolutely love to hear from you guys. We are simulcasting again. We are live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. Next week, we are adding Instagram to the fold. So we will be live on all 4 of those: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram. And I've got it set up with this new system for Instagram where the people that are watching live on Instagram will actually hear everything that you guys are hearing. So it's going to come out of the board, out of the Rodecaster Pro here into the phone that we're going to have dedicated special for Instagram. So you'll have the same exact experience, except you'll just see me like, you know, this. But anyway, we're adding Instagram to the fold. Probably going to be adding LinkedIn as well. And then we are in the final stages and process of signing everything over to where we're going to be on Apple TV and your Roku devices as well. So a lot of stuff going on. Lots of stuff going on. I can see Decoys in the chat, man. Good to see you here. Snall Guy's here. What's up, Steve? How you doing? Man, I am doing great. And it feels really good to say that I'm doing great as well. Chunky Dunk's in here. He's watching on Twitch, and he subscribed for the second month in a row. If you haven't done that already, since this is the weird thing, since we are so cross-platform here, if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm going to talk about in just a second some things we're going to be doing on the YouTube channel. But if you're not following me on Twitch, make sure you go over and you follow me on Twitch, and you can even subscribe to the channel if you want. If you have Twitch Prime, you can subscribe to my Twitch channel for free. All you have to do is tie your Twitch account to your Amazon Prime account, and you can sub to me for free. But if you're on Twitch and you've not been on YouTube, go over and follow me and subscribe to the channel on YouTube as well. Speaking of YouTube, I have made some decisions based on emails that I have gotten from you guys. And with questions and concerns and things like that. So I want to talk about something that just for a second. And like I said, I want to get you guys' opinion on it as well. I have not taken what I set out to be my responsibility on YouTube as seriously as I probably should have. And I'm changing that now. You know, we've got the podcast. We do this every Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Central. And it's live. And then later on in the evening, it's available for on demand. So, and then you can catch the podcast on Apple Podcast or Spotify starting on Wednesdays at noon. But I want to do more on the YouTube channel. We've grown, we have had like 1,200 subs in the last 2 months. And I've loved the content that I've put out there, but I've not put up and put out enough content that you guys really want. So that's going to change. And I'm putting it out there now in front of everybody watching on all three platforms that I really am going to make 2019 the year that I put the effort in to continuing to grow the channel and putting out the kind of content that you guys want to see to help you. There's a couple things we're going to be doing. I'm going to launch 3 new features on the channel, which in turn is going to turn into 3 brand spanking new videos every week. So we will have the podcast on Tuesday night. Then there will be a new video on Wednesday, a new video on Thursday, and a new video on Friday. Yes. Here's what we're going to do. So many of you guys have loved some of the gear reviews and things that I've done. I'm going to be teaming up with a couple different companies like Sweetwater and a couple others to talk about gear the same way I did with the Rodecaster Pro. Everybody seemed to love those videos. So I'm going to start diving into more of the tech and gear reviews that you guys want to see me do. Because I love it. I love tech gear. I absolutely love it. I own so much. Every new piece. Today, I just bought I don't need it. I've got 4 brand new Sony cameras, and I ended up buying the Sony A6400 today. Just because I like them. I'll buy the A7000 when it comes out. There's also so much new gear coming out for recording studios and things like that. And so I'm going to start doing all of that kind of gear reviews for you guys the way that I do them, not like other tech YouTubers. And I'm not saying anything bad about them or gear reviewers or anything like that. But you know me. I'm going to give you my honest opinion based on the way that I use them, not just a gloss over this is cool or this is not. I'm going to use the product and tell you what I think about it from a guy who just loves gear. That's going to range from all kinds of tech stuff, from cameras to recording studio equipment. I've got friends that have new plug-in suites that are coming out. We're gonna go into the studio and use those things. I'm going to tell you all about them. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, that's one thing that we're going to do. Another thing that we're going to do is I am launching basically 3 new features. So the gears and the tech reviews, that's all another thing. But I'm launching 3 new features. One is called the Business of Music. We have talked about this so many times here on the podcast and even in different videos in the past about how creative people and content creators focus so much time on the creation because that's the side of the brain. That's what is it, the left side of the brain that everybody thinks that the creatives think from. So we put so much time, effort, passion, and energy into the actual creation, that most of the time you guys don't stop and think and really put as much effort and energy into understanding and learning the business side of whether that be the music business or the YouTube business or the TV and film business. You think about the creation, because that's what we, as creatives, that's what we focus the most on. But if you don't understand the business side of the creation process, you're not ever going to be successful, because it's not the creation that makes something successful. And that's a hard thing to admit to yourself, but it's not. It's not what you're doing today. It might be what you do 3 years from now. But if you don't understand the business side of it, then you're automatically at a loss. So I'm going to start this new feature series that will be one new video every week, and it will go under the heading in a playlist called The Business of Music. And I'm going to get in depth and detail into the business side of the entertainment business. It's going to go beyond music, but I mean, you have to admit it's called the music business, but this is going to be the business of music. So that's why we're calling it that. But it's going to go in depth, and I'm going to talk about the things that I've gone through in the music business. We're going to break down financials. We're going to tell you what stuff pays, what stuff costs from a real perspective. We'll also go into some of the stuff that I've done with television and film, and excuse me, even the YouTube stuff. I have a real problem with a lot of YouTubers at the moment, and especially these how to grow your channel YouTube people. I have a real issue with some of them. I wonder how in the world they are half as successful as they claim to be when they tweet every 10 seconds all day long. It's like if you were really as successful as then you would be doing what it is that you're successful at, not tweeting every 5 seconds. That bugs me. I'm going to get into that. I think so many of you guys get caught up into the scenario in the process of watching somebody else tell you what you should be doing versus getting off the bench and into the game and playing and learning the real way. You only learn what to do right by doing it wrong. You can't watch a video of how and what's worked for this guy is going to work for you. You can't fit a square peg into a round hole. And a lot of these guys on YouTube, that's what they do. They're telling you need to do this and I saw the other day a guy put out a video on how to grow your Instagram, and that mother has got 14,000 followers on Instagram. I'm like, dude, why don't you grow your own Instagram before you start putting out videos telling other people like you're an authority on how to get Instagram followers and how to build your Instagram account? You're virtually a nobody on Instagram, but yet you're putting yourself. I have a problem with that. We're going to go behind the scenes of all that stuff. I'm going to give you my opinion. I'm going to always tell you what I think. Most importantly, I will always tell you the truth. That series is going to be called The Business of Music, and it's going to encompass a lot, like I just said. The second feature that we're going to be adding is the art of artist development. And this is going to be for you, independent artists, but I'll really be honest with you. Any of you content creators out there that want to build your brand or build your business or anything like that, this is going to be just as crucial and educational for you as well. I'm going to go through and I'm going to piece by piece start uploading videos that show you alternate methods and affordable methods that can help you grow your brand, grow your career, whether you're an independent artist, a songwriter, a YouTube content creator, or a Twitch streamer. No matter what those things are, I'm going to show you how you can find success in those avenues through the art of artist development. And I think it's going to be a very valuable resource for you. Again, I'm going to be pulling, and a lot of people are not going to be happy with some of the things that I'm going to be telling you. I'm going to be giving you a lot of industry insider information that people don't want out there. But I don't care, and I don't mind. I want to do that. Now, I have to be careful, and I'm going to put a disclaimer out there, and I'm going to say this so that nobody can come back and say anything bad about me. I own an artist development company, and I work and develop certain artists that come to me that I review, and I decide that my company is going to work with them, and we charge a lot of money to do it. I want to be upfront about this. I'm not going to put everything that we do in these videos because that's not fair to the people that are paying a lot of money for us to handle all of this for them. Now, here's how I'm reconciling these two. When an artist comes to our or a company for that matter, because we work with a lot of companies to grow their brand, but when an artist comes to me and says, we want you to develop us and get us signed to a major label and do all this other stuff, what we do through the artist development program is we handle everything. Okay, we're physically doing the work. We're not telling them, okay, here's what you need to do with Instagram. Here's what you need to do with Facebook. Here's what we're going to do with the music. We do it all. I produce all of their records. I hook them up with all of the hit songwriters to write the great songs. We go in, we produce them, we shoot the videos, we manage their social media, we manage them until we pass them off to another legit artist management company or a booking agent. So that's why we charge a lot of money to do that. What I'm going to do, though, in this series is say, here are some of the things that we do. I'm not going to be doing it for you, if that makes sense. But that's going to be the art of artist development. It's been something that I've been planning for about a year now that I'm going to turn into a curriculum, and I'm going to use you guys as guinea pigs. So just so we're honest and upfront, I'm going to use you guys as the guinea pigs. We're going to put this content out and we're going to create it. And it's going to also involve me bringing in specialists from PROs, performing rights organizations, from other hit songwriters and other multi-platinum selling record producers and film producers and screenwriters, all kinds of these people and specialists in this to help you grow your career. This is really important to me. Like I said, it's been something that I've been planning for well over a year. And we're going to start implementing that probably in the next couple of weeks. Matter of fact, the first video in the business of music and kind of an art of artist development video will be uploaded tomorrow. And what it's going to be on is for independent artists. It's the title of it, I think, what they're doing is YouTube for Independent Artists. And we're going to talk about, if you're an independent artist, how you should be doing YouTube and how it can be beneficial for you to help grow your career. But also we're going to go into what you're doing wrong, which I think is more important than anything. I think if you point out what you're doing wrong, then it allows you to explore other avenues to hopefully get it right and maximize that. Because again, at the end of the day, I want all of you guys to be successful. Every single one of you. There's enough to go around, I promise. The third thing that we're going to be implementing this year is something I am really, really excited about. Now, this has two phases, and it's called one-on-one. And I'll talk about both phases. The first phase here, and the reason I'm calling it one-on-one, is because I am going to, and I already have, reached out to some of my relationships and friendships with people that are some of the most successful and influential people in the entertainment business and the business world itself. I'm going to be flying and going on location to sit down one-on-one with these titans of industry and business and entertainment. Not to just get their story, but I want to hear about their struggles. We're going to talk about guys that have slept in their car and what that was like, but now they're billionaires. We're going to talk with and sit down and discuss how many times they hear no, how many times they failed. And we're going to talk about, you've heard me say it a million times, but the formula for success is persistence, consistency, and a willingness to sacrifice. I'm going to sit down in their environment and talk with them about their journey from beginning to success. And I've already talked to 3 people that I've got to go to California to do one. I've got to go to Pittsburgh to do another one. And then I think the third one may work out where he's going to be here in Nashville. So we may actually do it right here. But that's going to be a series called One-on-One. And the first one we probably are going to launch in March. And my plan is to try to do one a month and have a different guest for that particular video. But that's what I'm planning for the YouTube channel in 2019 and growing it even beyond. I've had some other people approach me about doing some other things. All of this content as well will probably live on our channel on Apple TV and Roku devices as well. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. It looks like I said before, I will be the first to admit that I've probably not taken it as seriously as I should have. And the way that you guys have responded, whether it be through the podcast, I mean, do you guys realize this podcast is reaching and getting consumed by over 100,000 people a week? It's amazing. The platform for this is just absolutely amazing. And I've got to do a better job of taking it more serious and taking you guys more serious. That's a whole part of it. The other side of the one-on-one is something that I'm going to start doing, and I've already started doing it. And let me see if I can pop this up here. This is going to be for independent artists and for companies, all of this. I understand, like I said before, that a lot of you guys cannot afford to come to me and a company like mine and pay the thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that it costs to have us do everything for you and build your career out for you and do everything. I understand that, believe me. So what I wanted to do was try to create a program where we could condense everything that you need to know and create a unique strategy for you. So I've started these, and I did the first one just the other day with James Foley, a really cool independent artist in the UK, is getting ready to launch his new project. He booked a one-on-one with me, and we spent, I say 2 hours. We were on a video conference call for 2.5 hours. But what I do is, I mean, it's real plain right here. Set unique goals, identify obstacles, pinpoint needs, and create a plan. And this is a plan. This is, again, not a square peg trying to fit into a round hole. I literally sit down and listen to your music, look at them, and create a marketing plan that is right for your budget and that's right for you as a unique artist. And if you're interested in doing something like that, you can visit my website, go to thestevefreeman.com, and it's right there on the front page, and you can book a one-on-one with me, and we will get you lined out, no matter what it is you want to do. If you want to talk about social media and how to take advantage of social media, or you're getting ready to launch your new single EP, and you need to have a marketing strategy behind it, and you want to maximize your full potential and really start to see success. Again, guys, when I talk about all this, I've said this before, right? I'm talking about success, not fame. I want you guys to find success. That is my ultimate goal. See, a lot of people that I know are threatened by people wanting to be successful. You guys being successful does not threaten me. And I don't understand that. I've been noticing a lot of that lately, where a lot of people are it's like they feel threatened by that. And I don't. I want every single one of you to be successful as you define it. Not as I define it or the industry defines it or anybody else, but as you define it. So I'm trying to come up with ways to be able to do that, and this is one of them. It's one-on-one with me, video conference, FaceTime, however you want to do it. I've been using Google Hangouts because it works great, and really be able to spend some one-on-one time with you, helping you with your career in a way that's affordable for you to be able to do that and get the advice and learn some tips and tricks that would normally cost you a hell of a lot of money. But like I said, I just did the first one the other day. It was such a blast. Getting to know you guys and work with you and hear your music or hear your business ideas. I thrive on it. It's almost become like a fuel, like a gasoline for me, because it keeps, that's the thing about passion. Everybody watching tonight or that will watch this in the future, we are all passionate about something, and we're all trying to get a little piece of something out of something so that we can apply to ourselves and move forward, which is the whole reason I'm going to do the one-on-one series with all of these mega important people from the business world and the entertainment world, is because that's what I want. I want to be able to showcase these very successful people, not people on YouTube that we think are YouTube successful. That to me doesn't count. I'm talking about success in the real mainstream world where it matters. So that you guys can find that little particle, that one little piece of something they may say or an experience that they had in their story that you can take and apply to your life. Because that to me is the most important thing. That's what you guys are doing for me. That's why I'm taking this so seriously now. Is because I see how passionate you guys get about it. That makes me passionate about it. That fires me up. That gets me excited. And I had a very open conversation with you guys 2 weeks ago about music and how I've just not been passionate about it. And it's just not something. I will tell a little update on that though. As I think what's the old Al Pacino, I thought it was out. Just as I thought it was out, they pulled me back in. I was contacted this week about writing and producing the soundtrack for a new film that is. It's going to be awesome. It is really going to be awesome. And then I got contacted about doing music for another film. This all came through in the same day. And it's just so funny when maybe you let go of something just a little bit, how the universe brings it back to you. And I did that 2 weeks ago on that podcast. I told you guys, I've lost my passion for it. I don't have a passion for it. I don't have a reason to have a passion for it. And then the floodgates open back up, and it's exciting for me to refine and have that passion reignited, and I want the same thing for you guys, and that's why I said I'm going to start taking all of this a lot more serious than I have in the past, and I hope you guys will take the journey with me. Tech for Your Needs is in the chat. He says, "Hi, what's up, buddy? Hope you're doing well." Spike says, "G'day, mate. I'm assuming you're in Australia." He said, "I watched your Rodecaster Pro review video, and now your newest subscriber." Awesome, man. I appreciate it. I have entered the Rode Podcaster competition, entering 427. Very awesome. Awesome. I appreciate you guys being in here. Eagles is our state national football. Oh, okay. This is my where my daughters go to school. You end up getting you get into the football, and of course, like I said, my daughter plays volleyball and basketball. Now she's thinking about playing softball and running track. I think she just wants to do everything that's available, everything but be at home. I think she just enjoys having mom and dad run back and forth to the school 3,700 times a day. But yeah, so every once in a while, all my navy blue stuff is Dallas Cowboys stuff. Because, I'm a huge Dallas Cowboys fan. So I have to, anytime I want to wear something navy, it's like it ends up being my kids' school colors. But that's the reason for that. Anything you guys want to talk about tonight, feel free, put it in the chat. And I will try to get to it just as soon as humanly possible. If you are on, well, it doesn't really matter. Either place, Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube, be sure and put an @TheSteveFreeman before so that I know the comments for me and y'all aren't just talking amongst yourselves, which is totally fine as well. Feel free to mingle and talk amongst yourselves. But, yeah. The other thing I want to talk about, I got an interesting email the other day that I thought, okay, this would be something really good to talk about. And I get this email a lot. People wanting to know what PRO they should join, Performing Rights Organization. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to run down this real quick. But the funny thing, I get this email a lot. I mean, I get it a lot. And I'm going to tell you, I am CSAC. I'm with CSAC. I was with BMI for over 15 years. I own a publishing company with ASCAP, but I've never been a songwriter associated with ASCAP other than owning a publishing company there because I had writers that wrote for my publishing company that were affiliated with ASCAP. But here's what I'm going to tell you. I was with BMI for 15 years, hated all 15 years of it, and finally it had been several times that Shannon over at CSAC had been trying to get me to come to CSAC. I finally was at a contract renewal period, an open date where I could get out of my contract with BMI and move to CSAC. And I took advantage of that. And I've never been happier than I have been at CSAC. But CSAC is a private company. You have to be invited to join. For most of you, that leaves you with the options of ASCAP or BMI. I would go with ASCAP over BMI. Now, that's me personally. Now, for everybody else, they all do the same thing. You're going to hear stories of people telling you that, oh, well, I heard BMI pays more. I heard that ASCAP pays more. Look, if you're with BMI and you co-wrote a song with an ASCAP writer and that ASCAP writer made more money, you can take that statement to BMI and they will match. So, yeah, maybe one has a couple more outlets that they check on more regularly for the royalties than the other one. But if you take statements and show that your co-writer made more money than you did and it's an equal split on the song, then your PRO, no matter which one it is, will match those funds. So they all do the exact same thing. They all collect your royalties, your songwriter and publisher side royalties. And the truth of the matter is, and this is just me being honest with you guys, and I'm not trying to be any way whatsoever. This is just the honest to God truth. Until you have a hit song out there that's earning money, none of them are going to give a shit about you. You're not going to get a rep at BMI. You're not going to get a rep at ASCAP. They're not going to return your phone calls, and they're not going to return your emails until you have a hit. That's just the way that it is. And I see so many people get frustrated by the PRO system. And believe me, I was for years and years and years and years. I did have hits when I was with BMI, and I couldn't get them to return my emails. Couldn't get them to return phone calls. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now, I can't say that with CSAC. They have been amazing. Absolutely amazing. If I need anything, I can pick up the phone and call, and if she doesn't pick up, the vice president of the entire place will call me back in an hour. Or she'll shoot me an email and say, hey, sorry, I'm going to get somebody else on this for you, or I can't call you back right now, but give me a couple hours and, or text me. And that's important. It feels like a family. That's why every opportunity I get, I defend. Even when we were going through the whole Music Modernization Act stuff, I defended CSAC because they are family to me. BMI was never a family to me. I've never been affiliated with ASCAP, so I don't know. I know I write with other songwriters that are ASCAP affiliated, and they love ASCAP. They love ASCAP the way I love CSAC. You will also find writers who love BMI the way that I love CSAC and other writers love ASCAP. Fact of the matter is you need to make sure that your songs are protected. You need to make sure that if you want to make money from your music, you are going to have to be affiliated with one of them. So pick your poison. You can't go into it, though, thinking, oh, well, I'm going to get a rep, and they're going to help me get cuts, and they're going to help. No, they're not. No, they're not. Until you have some success, you are going to be a nobody to them. It's just the way that it is. If you accept that and realize that the burden is on you to make something happen, which is in anything. We've talked about that. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier about everybody watching these YouTube help gurus and all of this other BS. It's on you. You can sit around all day and complain about the algorithm. You can complain about Instagram's algorithm. You can complain about the YouTube algorithm. My answer to all that is just make better content. Make content people want to see. Don't rely on the algorithm to do your job for you. It is your job as the creator to bring attention to your creation. If you can't afford to do that, then you've got a problem. Same thing as anything else. Just because you want to play golf doesn't mean that you can stroll up into Dick's tomorrow and go, I really want to be a golfer. And they're going to go, oh, here's $800 worth of golf clubs. You want to be a golfer? Here you go. You can't walk into Starbucks and they give you free coffee because you like coffee. So I have trouble with that. And always thinking that there's another person in the process that's going to help you be more successful. That I have a real issue with. And it's bad here in Nashville. It's bad in LA. Everybody's looking for that one person that can do what they should be doing themselves. Oh my God, we just got rated by Janelle Wheeler. Everybody's rolling in. Welcome everybody from the Wheeler wagon. I just hopped up on my soapbox, so welcome in. I would say hi to everybody, but there's so many of you. There's just so damn many of you. I'm going to put a hello out there to everybody. Welcome to the stream. Back on my soapbox. Everybody wants to be successful, but very few people want to. Here's my saying. If you've never heard me say this before, write this down, and if you have to, get it freaking tattooed on your arm so you can look at it. Listen to this. This will be the wisest thing that you've heard all month. Everybody wants to jump on a moving train, but nobody wants to shovel the coal to get it going. Are you with me, chat? See, that's the problem. We live in this social media age where we think because somebody's got 150,000 followers that they're automatically an influencer. And that has now become our goal, right? Is that we want other people to do it for us. We want to put out a post and we want everybody else to like it so that other people see it and hopefully I make money. Or I'm in the music business. I want to be an artist. I want to be this. So I'm going to go hire this person and this person and this person. I'm going to spend every dime that my mom and dad, my grandma, my grandpa, my uncle, my aunt, my next door neighbor, anybody else that I can con into spending a little bit of money into my career. I'm going to go get all of that so that I can give it to this person to make it happen for me. Nobody is going to make it happen for you. There's not a single person that you can pay that's going to make up for or in lieu of your hard work. Period. I'm living proof of it. I can sit here and say that I've had a very supportive family, right? I've been married, just celebrated my 20th wedding anniversary, and it is hard being a wife of somebody that is in the entertainment business, especially the music business. But I can sit here and tell you that every hit song that I've had was not because of something somebody else did. It was because I busted my ass. Every multi-platinum record that I've produced was because I worked my ass off to get myself to a point where other people wanted me to produce their records. When I write songs for TV and film, it's because they come to me because I wrote successful songs for other television shows and films. There was nobody that said, oh, we're going to do this and make all this happen for somebody else. Because think about it like this. If those people really existed, don't you think they would be using their super freaking human powers on themselves to make themselves more successful? Absolutely they would. So to sit around and think that somebody else is going to be responsible for your success or somebody else can show you and tell you exactly what you need to do and that be somehow more valuable than you actually putting your big boy panties on and putting the boots on and getting up and hitting the dirt and pounding it every day and doing the three things that I have said for 10 years and nobody seems to want to do, and that is be consistent, be persistent, and be willing to sacrifice. I know that I keep saying it. And I keep saying it because fucking people won't listen. It's a number. I get that question so often. How do I be successful in the music business? Where have you been? Are you wanting me to answer that question as if you asked it that how do I be successful in the music business without doing anything you've talked about for the last 5 years? Well, if that is your question, then you're an idiot. The one thing that I know is that you cannot have you and successful in the same sentence and take you out of it and still have success. You can't do it. It never ceases to amaze me how people think that they are just one relationship away from doing what they want to do. Or they're one relationship away, or they're put it in monetary terms. I'm $1,000 away from being able to pay my way to success. Guys, it doesn't work that way. The longer you sit around and think that it works that way, the more you're going to lose. It is just the way that it is. and it never ceases to amaze me. I run across at least once a day where I find people that, you've heard the whole thing about, one cog out of the wheel and it doesn't go, okay, same thing. Consistency, persistence, and a willingness to sacrifice. I always find that the system breaks down for people at the part about being willing to sacrifice. That's where I always find it. So everybody that's coming in from Janelle Wheeler, if you guys have questions that you want to ask, feel free. I would love, I just saw somebody, HB, but it would be fulfilling if there was some Q&A in your spill. I told you, man, I get up on my soapbox and I get going, but you feel free to ask a question. Feel free to put a question. We are live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. So I'm trying to wrangle comments and questions from all three different platforms. And I'm an old man now, so I'm not as fast as I used to be, but I'll try to get to them for sure. Just type your question in the chat, and hopefully it'll pop up there, and I can get to them for sure. But that was kind of the thing that I wanted to hit on tonight, was that it's just so funny that I keep getting the same questions from the same type of people. And it's like they keep wanting me to come up with some other solution that requires them not to work as hard. And that's never going to happen. It's just not ever going to happen. You're going to have to work your ass off. It's just the way that it is. Unless you win the lottery. And you can look up the statistics on that. But, if you're like me, see, I find so much pleasure and enjoyment out of the journey. It's not so much the destination for me. I've been to the destination. It was pretty. It looked like every other cool place I've ever been. So what's next? What keeps you going? And no matter what that is, it's that you want to keep going, or you want to be successful at this, or you want to do this, or you want to improve this, it's all going to require you to do it, not somebody else. So yeah, any of you guys got questions, feel free to type them in the chat and we will get to them. I will find them one way or the other. It's always so funny that some of this stuff stops working when a certain number of people are live in the chat. And all of this stuff is supposed to come through to this one source, and it just doesn't. So now I will hop back and forth between the platforms and just look at the comments and questions there. And let's see, what is it? Whiskey Echo, more a comment, but is being a viewer a waste of time if you're supposed to be hustling every waking moment? Here's the thing, he's got to follow it, leaning towards the relationship between content creators and consumers. Well, let me put it this way. I would, and this is what I think there's a big problem with YouTube and Twitch. And Whiskey, that is actually a very good question, and it's a very good comment, and I want to approach it like this. I think at times, see if this makes sense to you, I think at times we put too much pressure on ourselves to not just be one or the other. And not just realize that, it's okay to just be a viewer. See, I have a hard time with that because I'm an entrepreneur. The first time when my kids came home and were talking about Twitch, I'm like, what the are you talking about? People are playing video games for a living? I mean, what are you talking about? And so they logged me on and I got on. Well, the entrepreneur light bulb went off in my head. And it wasn't from the first time I watched Twitch, 3 months later, I had a full-fledged esports organization, clothing line, brand, everything. So I get what you're saying there, but I also think that there are times that we've just got to be honest with ourselves and we've got to say, you know what? Maybe I just enjoy this. Maybe this is a form of entertainment for me. Maybe I don't have to be a streamer. Maybe I don't have to watch this YouTube channel to try how to be a better YouTuber. Maybe I just enjoy the content. It's kind of a thing that we are in now, And I saw somebody make a reference to Gary Vee. I love Gary. I love Gary to death. But my issue and my problem with Gary is that he has a tendency to make everyone feel that unless you believe exactly the way that he believes and hustle the way that he hustles at everything that he does, that you somehow don't want to be successful, if that makes sense. I think look, you've got two sides of the coin there. You've got content creators and you've got content absorbers, right? So I don't think you have to hustle all the time. I think if it's bred into you for whatever reason and however that managed to happen, that you are an entrepreneur or you are just naturally driven by success in business and growth, then you do tend to look at things like Twitch or YouTube or anything else that you might come in contact with as an opportunity to do something. But I will tell you this, what I learned, I thought for years and years and years that it was financial. I thought that if you just achieved this certain level and you got here and you had the money, that everything that was the success marker, litmus test, but also that was the key to being happy at everything else, until I started making a lot of money. Then it wasn't that anymore. The reason I wanted to accumulate more money was so that I could get into other things that truly brought me enjoyment. I'm the same right now with Twitch and with YouTube. I've been bitten with it. So that's why I've invested. I mean, there's $50,000 in this room. But I'm doing it. It's not the thought of the goal of the million subscribers or the ad revenue. That's not what drives me. That's not what excites me. It's not the financial side of it. And for some people it is. And if it is, then that's totally okay. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We all have to have our goals. But most importantly, we also have to know what the guidelines are to know that we've achieved those goals. If that's financial for you, that's great. It was financial for me for years and years and years. And to a certain point, I guess it still is. But when you're married, you've got two kids. You've got one kid going to UCLA in a year. That's $70,000 a year. That's that's enough of a financial goal to keep you motivated to do other things. But back to your point, the relationship between the content creator and the consumer, I think, is a very close relationship, but I think it can be a detrimental relationship if you're talking about a relationship between a content creator and a consumer, if that consumer is trying to consume your content to learn how to take you over. That's a dangerous position. It's like I was saying earlier, this guy on YouTube put out a video. I don't think the Wheeler Wagon, the Wheeler Nation was here for this one. There's a guy on YouTube put out a video the other day. And the only reason I subbed to his channel is because I fucking hate the guy. And it's almost like watching a train wreck. So I have to watch his videos because they piss me off. And he put out a video the other day about how to grow on Instagram. And I looked him up, and the guy's got 14,000 followers. How in the world can you put out a video on how to grow your Instagram channel when you've got your Instagram page, whatever, and you've got 14,000 followers? See, that to me is a problem in an abusive relationship between a content creator and a consumer. But what we don't do is think as consumers at times about where we spend our valuable time. Why would you spend 10 minutes listening to a guy who has 14,000 followers on Instagram about how to grow your Instagram account? Go figure that one. I'm at a complete loss on that. But I think that is a phenomenal question, Whiskey. It is. It's a very tumultuous relationship between a content creator and the consumer of that content. And a lot of it depends on exactly what reason you are consuming the content. Plastic Audio says, I get you don't like the Instagram guy, but 14,000 followers is a lot to some people. You're just not his audience. Okay, I agree. But, and this is me, This is me personally. If I want to watch somebody tell me how to be successful at something, or in this case, especially how to grow your Instagram page, I'm sorry, but you're going to have more than 14,000 followers to call yourself an influencer and to call yourself an authority on how to grow an Instagram page. That's just my thought. I think that's BS. Now, the guy's got 300,000 YouTube subscribers. Do a video on keep doing videos on how to grow your YouTube channel. But you obviously don't know how to grow an Instagram account, or you would have more than 14,000 followers. That's all I'm saying. And in all honesty, in the grand scheme of things, it's not even relevant because numbers don't matter. I can show you if you want to talk numbers, I can show you numbers where independent artists have less than 5,000 fans and make more physical money every year than most major label artists. So we're also feeding into this thing where, if you've got 25,000 followers, or you've got 100,000 subscribers, or you've got all this, that somehow makes you an authority. It doesn't. And that's my issue with a lot of that, is that we get tied up with this online persona and the Twitch and the YouTube. And like I said, I will admit, I'm bitten with it. But I'm not bitten with it from a thing of, I've got to have a certain number of subscribers or a certain... I don't care. I don't know how many of you guys are in here right now. You guys watching are the only thing that matters to me. I don't care if there's 5 of you. I don't care if there are 250,000 of you. It makes no difference to me. But we live in a culture and a society now where that matters. I know in the music business, I've talked about this before, used to be, where are you on the charts? If you were in the top 30 or the top 40, then you could get booked anywhere you wanted to play. That's even gone away now. The first question that you get now is, how many Spotify streams do you have? How many Instagram followers do you have? How many Facebook fans do you have? All of that. But what most people don't realize is because that's what that does, is that creates perception. And we live in a perception world. None of us live in reality anymore. When you start living off of numbers, then you're living in perception. And that's a very dangerous place to be. Unless your reality is extremely close to your perception. If you can scratch that perception surface and the reality is really close, then that's one thing. What you will find is that 99% of the time, it's not that at all. And we've allowed that to happen. And we'll continue to allow that to happen because that's where our business model is going. Advertisers are now, it's all affiliate and influencer marketing. That's, you get somebody that's got, 25,000, 100,000, 1 million followers, and these companies are now paying them to post on Instagram or post on Facebook. The problem is that they're not seeing a great return. That is why I was having a conversation earlier about some of the different Instagram algorithms and even YouTube algorithms and Facebook algorithms. They are sitting down with all of these major advertisers, and they're having issues because the major advertisers are spending a lot of money on these quote-unquote influencers who have hundreds of thousands of followers. They're paying these people to advertise a product and nobody's buying it. That's because 99% of the time, the people that have 100,000 followers have really about 750, and they've bought the other, 99,300. Now, the celebrity side of that's a completely different thing. But that's why you're starting to see all of these changes in all the social media algorithms, because the advertisers that are spending the money on these platforms are getting really sick and tired of spending the money with quote-unquote influencers, and they're not getting a return on their dollar. That's a big part of it. HB says, okay, question. How many years have you been promoting people and is only within the music industry too? Are you based out of Nashville? I've been in the... As far as like the artist development, About 15 years. I've been in the music business almost 30 years. I've gotten into artist development in the last 15 years, 10 years, very, very seriously. When I would run across either a new writer that my publishing company would bring in for me to write with, that they're also an artist, but they didn't have the connections, but they had all the talent in the world. That's when I started getting into artist development and being able to help artists that I knew that I could help through my relationships and help produce their projects and things like that. And am I based out of Nashville? I am based out of Nashville, but I travel back and forth between Nashville and Los Angeles quite a bit. Thank you for the question, though. Let's see. iSpike says, how's the podcaster? Well, it's the Rode Procaster. I've got the RE27. Mike, it's not the podcaster, but the Rode Procaster, I'm absolutely, I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. It's a great thing. Perfect for this sort of thing. Live streams, if you're a gamer on Twitch, you really need to look at the Rode Procaster. It's a Rodecaster Pro, I guess is the official title of it. It's absolutely phenomenal. Or if you're doing, if you do like a podcast or anything like that, it's the absolute perfect setup. You won't be sorry. Let's see. End of days is Michael D. I know nothing about Instagram. What's up, Steve? What's up, man? I am going to do your show. I realize I have not gotten back with you after we exchanged that last thing. I will certainly do your show. We will get that figured out. I totally apologize. That was my fault for kind of dropping the ball there on that one. All right, let's see. Anybody else have any more questions? Anything you want to know? We can talk about anything you guys want to talk about. I'm happy to answer any questions that you've got. I don't want anybody's question to go unanswered. I'm going to scroll back through here because it was not funneling everything through here. Let's see. I've been asked to watch your podcast by a few women. Okay. This is the first time I have. Interesting. Your show is you're a good salesman, promoting yourself as in others as you do. I'll tune in again. Awesome, man. I appreciate that. Was from HB. Okay. I answered your question later down there. But let me know who told you to check out the podcast. I think that's awesome. End of day. Okay, awesome. Yes, man. I'm looking forward to it. We'll definitely do your show. What makes a guru in the industry? Salesmanship, style, connections, and entertainment value. That's I see. You're interesting for a good part. Enjoying the podcast. Hey, man, I appreciate it. Thanks so much for hanging out. I said this in a podcast. It was either in a podcast or a video a while back. I want to be very clear about something. And I don't think that I can ever say this enough because I think it's important for people to hear, and it's also important for me to say because it reminds me. The only reason that I know what I'm talking about, the only reason that I have been as successful as I have been in my life and in my business is because I made every wrong decision at least twice before. I've said it: persistence, consistency, and a willingness to sacrifice. I did all of those things. I continue to do those things. Even at where I am today, I still have to be willing to sacrifice things. I sacrifice time with my family. I sacrifice time away from home. I sacrifice not going on vacation because I have to work or I have to be in LA for this or I got to go do this. My family sacrifices. But the only reason that I am where I am today, and I know exactly what I'm talking about, is because I've been down every wrong road. I made every wrong decision. Everything that I have told through any of my videos or the podcast or artist development or anything that I have told you guys or advised you guys not to do, I've advised you not to do it because I did it. And it didn't work. And when I say I did it, it means I did it very well financed. So if I'm telling you that you can't do this and this doesn't work, it's because it doesn't work. It's not because of any other reason. So I'm not one of these guys that's going to sit up here and say, look at my success, do what I'm telling you to do, and you can be successful like me. I'm actually telling you the opposite. I'm actually telling you the only reason I found success was because I did everything wrong multiple times. And I continue to do things wrong. Every time I get into something, but see, that's how I am. I'm the guy that if I move to a new city or I'm in a new place, I'm not going to buy a map and I'm not going to type things into the GPS. When I first started going out to Los Angeles, everybody complains about the traffic in LA. I love it. I don't know why. I hate it here in Nashville. It bugs the shit out of me. But I love LA traffic. But when I first started going out there, I just went and got lost. And I figured, okay, if I can find my way back to my hotel, then I'll start to learn my way around this place. And now 10 years later, I know it like the back of my hand. I can't get lost in Los Angeles if I tried. I know where I'm going. That's the way that I have done and operated my life and my business. Now, that can be to a detriment. Trust me. I have gone down extremely costly roads. I'm not looking for sympathy, but look, I went through a period. I lost my house. I had like 7 cars. I had all that, and I lost all of that because of wrong decisions. I lost all of it because I went down the right road. Now, luckily, I kept being consistent, and I kept being persistent, and I kept that willingness to sacrifice, and I got it all back plus some. So that's what I want to tell you guys. I'm not one of these guys that just listen to me and do what I'm telling you. Every bit of advice that I ever give you guys or the topics that I talk about are because I learned the lesson the hard way. It was because I did it wrong. And I can look back on it and go, this didn't work because of this. And like I said earlier, I want all of you guys to be successful. No, I don't care what, and that success is an independent definition for everybody. I want you to be successful by how you define it. And honestly, when you take financial stuff out of it, it gets a little bit easier to define, for me. Major Happy Pants says, Steve, do you have goals with streaming since number and financials are not currently something you concern yourself with? Major, that is a wait a minute. What did it used to be, Captain? You have promoted yourself to Major. I like it. That is the kind of person I like right there. Just, you know what? I'm not Captain anymore. I'm a Major. You're my kind of dude. I mean, that is a tough question. I don't know. I know that I want to continue to build a legitimate and close community, if that makes sense, when it comes to Twitch and YouTube. And I've struggled with actually doing this show, doing this podcast, and not simulcasting it to all 3 platforms, because it's almost its own thing, right? It's almost like some things are kind of Twitch world, some things are kind of YouTube world, and that is it is a struggle. When my goals, I mean, I don't know. I will say this. I will definitely say that it's not the financials that concern me with it, but I will say this. No matter what I do, I expect to be the best at it. Now, that's not always going to be the case, and I understand that, but that's not going to keep me from striving to be the best at it. So, like, when I went and my kids showed me Twitch, right? Okay, I'm going to walk you through how my brain works and how this whole thing came about. They showed me Twitch, and the first person they showed me was Ninja. And this was a year ago. And I'm looking and I'm thinking, okay, that's cool how they do the camera right there in the game. I didn't know anything about OBS or I didn't know any of it. But the way that my brain thought was, okay, but I can make sure my stream can look better than his. And he's the top guy. So what I do, I went out and bought a $3,000 camera to have as my webcam and a $2,700 lens. So when it's not like the financial side of it, the numbers do matter to me because I do want to build a community. So I can honestly say that does matter. That does. I'm not concerned or expecting Twitch to make me another $1 million next year. That's if that happens, that's great. But I look at that the way that I look at everything else, and that is that if I do my job and I do it to the best of my ability, if I do the business right and I do the creative right and I do that to my liking and what I feel like are my standards, I feel like the money is always there, right? If you do something right, I've always said for years that in the music business, if the music is right, the business will be there. I'm kind of looking at Twitch and YouTube and everything else the same way. I'm not trying to become a YouTuber or a streamer. What I've found is that I enjoy the hell out of it. That I enjoy it. I mean, I truly do. I love getting on there and playing Fortnite. I love getting on there and playing Apex. I love doing this. I love engaging with and watching other streamers play games and do the just chatting stuff. All you guys that came over from Janelle's stream, love watching that stuff. I love consuming the content. So it's just something that I enjoy doing, and it's something that I'm passionate about. But at the same time, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. And I'm hoping that when you do something to the best of your ability, like I said, the business part of it will take care of itself, and the business part will be there, and you'll grow followers, and you'll grow subs, and you'll get all of that stuff that comes along with that if you're creating content that people want to absorb and that people want to make a part of their life and that they find some sort of value in. For me, that's really what it is. I'm so passionate about doing it. I'm just hoping that I can connect the audience that I'm building with what it is that I want to do, and we can have that relationship with each other, that it does pay off with more subs and it pays off with more views, because that means the message is getting out there and we're bringing more people in. And that is what I love more than anything. I've always been the create my own circle kind of guy. I've always been an outlaw. It's just the way that I've always been an outsider. I've never been that guy that wants to go get inside the it circle. I've wanted to build my own circle. So for me, if any kind of gratification at all is just the fact that we've started this circle and it continues to grow. Long answer to a short question, but thank you, Major Happy Pants. Good to see you've been. Your rank has gone up. I assume soon we'll be talking. What's after Major? Is it Lieutenant? Would it be my father-in-law was a command sergeant major. But yeah, so I hope that answered your question. I'm not gonna lie to you and say that I don't want to. Would I love to have 1 million people? Absolutely. That's the goal. I mean, that's spreading the message and having a large community is the goal for me. I guess that's what I'm saying. Yes, I would love to build the community to a large point. We've got the podcast now. It's 100,000 people a week across these 3 platforms, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Like, it was 200,000 last week. So, it's not about the financial gain that brings. To me, it's just more about the community and building it and having people that are as passionate as you are about similar things. I guess that's what I'm saying. Let's see. Guys, I'm switching back and forth because this thing is not delivering all of my messages all into the one. So now that was a Twitch thing. Now we're going to go back over to YouTube. Michael O says, Fleet Hop on Instagram recommended you, and I'm enjoying the content. Great. I don't know Fleet personally, but by God, thank him or her for sending you over here. I appreciate it, Michael. Thanks for being here. Stephen Holloway, I started building a sync catalog for stuff to submit, ads, commercials, gaming or film, TV, etc. Gets me through the writer's block and inspired times too, but it actually is fun as hell. I agree, man. This is just an honest thing. I have enjoyed writing and producing songs for TV and film more than I ever have having a number one record. Truthful. There is just something about when you're sitting down watching an awesome TV show and your song comes on. I like that more than driving down the road and hearing a song I've written come on the radio. I don't know why. I'm just such a film and TV and movie buff that the sync world just, when I started getting involved in that, it just completely consumed me. And I love doing it. This is one that I'm getting ready to write and produce the soundtrack for this new film. Is awesome. I always wanted to do a project like Bon Jovi did for Young Guns, and that's what I'm going to do with this new film. It's going to be awesome. But yeah, man, I'm glad you found that, and it is. Building a sync catalog is an awesome thing. There's so many different avenues, so many different lives that those things can have. And I would, if you don't already, and if you want to know some good places, send me an email. thestevefreeman@gmail.com. I will give you some places out in LA that you might want to email. Tell them that I told you to email them, and maybe get you connected with some people out there that can help you with maybe getting some of those placed. Because I love TV and film stuff. Question: have you done sync or theme style music for a long time? If so, any pointers for possibly catching music supervisors' attention? Just kind of sort of answered that without reading that. Yeah, I've done it for, I guess the where it really bit me hard was when I was writing songs for HBO's True Blood. That was my first sync experience, was a song on True Blood. And I don't know, that was maybe 9, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, 12 years ago, somewhere in there. And it did. Number one, for those of you that don't understand how the music business works for songwriters, it's like we can have a number one song out on the radio right now, and we're not going to see a dime of that money for 12 months. It's so far behind the cataloging system and the royalty system, and it getting to your PRO and it getting split up and finally getting paid for that quarter. Then when you do get the first check, it's only for the first quarter. And that's always when the song was like at its at number 70 or whatever. And so it takes a very long time to get paid. Well, when I got paid for sync, it's like, they're like, okay, we're going to pay you $12,000 to do this song and it's like, okay, sure. And then they wire the money into your bank account the next day. That's when I fell in love with sync. That's, and you can, the cool thing about sync is that you can go from, I've had songs placed that made $125 and songs that made $100,000. It's all depending on what the use is and what it's for. I just have a buddy of mine writing one for a film, a certain superhero film coming out next, and it's like $500,000 one time. Boom. So sync is great. Sync is fun. Plus, I like that style of music, right? I think kind of in that vein anyway. I was always kind of the power ballad guy in Nashville. That's what I always defaulted to because I don't like the Florida Georgia line bullcrap pop country stuff. It just wasn't my thing. I love rock music, so I've written with Jonathan Cain, with Journey, and all of that kind of. That was my litmus test, right? That was the music that I always went back to, and Bryan Adams and Richard Marx and Rod Stewart and Lionel Richie. That was all, and that stuff all lends itself to music. One of my favorite artists of all times is Peter Cetera, and I'll never forget why, because of the song in Karate Kid 2. And that is where a lot of it started for me. And so when I started getting into writing and producing stuff for TV and film, I always go back to those times because that's what I enjoy doing the most. Let's see. Hello, I saw you in another stream earlier. Oh, Deacon. Yeah, I was probably lurking in Janelle Wheeler's. I think. There's a couple, really cool streamers out there that I just really enjoy watching. I've got my own little list over here of people that I follow. Some of it is the just chatting stuff and more the podcast and streamer style stuff. And then, of course, some of it's the gaming stuff as well. I'm a fan of all of it, man. Truth be told, I really, really enjoy the platform. I enjoy being able more than anything to go one-on-one with you guys. I enjoy the back and forth. I enjoy the Q&A. I enjoy the sometimes arguments because I'm a passionate person and a lot of you guys are passionate. But I always welcome that and that interaction. Let's see. What's your opinion on the band Sugar Ray? I was never a really big Sugar Ray fan. I don't have anything against Sugar Ray. It just was never really my thing. You know, back in that era, I was more listening to like Live. That was Candlebox. You know, that was kind of my thing. I went to school with Amy Lee from Evanescence. And so as that was all happening, they were from the same hometown, and so I was really big into that, and so, you know, I don't know. I Mark McGrath's a nice guy. Isn't that his name? I just never a big Sugar Ray fan. That I have to admit though, man, that came out of left field. That is one question I was not expecting. He blocked me on Twitter because I made fun of him on my show. See, that's not cool. That's not cool. That's the problem with social media. You want to know why we are where we are today is because we live on places like Twitter, and we block people when they don't agree with us. You know, how ridiculous is that? Mark says, is that a Philly Eagles shirt? No, I do have a Philadelphia Eagles shirt in the other room. This is it's my daughter's school. It was I didn't mean to wear this today, but it was like dark in the closet, and I just, for whatever reason, didn't turn the light on. And I actually grabbed navy pants, and it's like, I was telling Chad earlier, I got a lot of Dallas Cowboys stuff that's navy, so I thought that's what I was grabbing, and I grabbed navy pants. It's like, well, shit, now I got to have a navy shirt, and I grabbed this one. I do like the Eagles. Big Eagles fan. I've been an Eagles fan, wow, since I was a kid. It was always the Cowboys, the Bears, and the Eagles. Those were my three teams. Pretty much still are. I mean, everybody wants to know, well, you're in Nashville, aren't you a Titans fan? Yeah. Went to a couple games this year though. That was fun. I keep saying I'm going to get season tickets, and I've got the direct ticket or Sunday direct TV Sunday ticket, so it's like I can watch every game. So it's kind of like, why would you spend the money to only be able to watch one when I can watch all of them? I know that's a tough thing. He asked, if you're in Twitch chat, he asked, how can I be a Cowboys fan and an Eagles fan? I just hope that, you know, it's when they play each other, which they play, you know what, twice a year, and it could potentially be 3 times a year, but it is very difficult. Sometimes I just have to abstain on the days when they play. But it is hard. It is hard, and a lot of people don't understand that. But I do. I like both of them. I like both of them a lot. Okay, now I'm going to jump back over to YouTube. Michael, okay. It was for controversy. Oh, I got you. Okay. Speaking of controversy, can we talk about this? What's his name? Jesse Smollett, without getting too political? Wow. How ridiculous is that whole thing? I have to say, though, regardless of where you fall down politically, because I don't care. I think people using politics as a barometer for friendship these days is absolutely insane. I was brought up in a household. I heard Bill Maher, and I put this in we talked about this on a podcast not long ago, and I put this in there, and I actually played Bill Maher saying this. I don't agree with everything Bill Maher says, but I agreed with this. He said, we were raised in a household where we didn't talk politics or religion, and look how much all better off we were. And it's like, but this, I have to say, is just like, wow. everybody talks about fake news this, fake news that, and then this, and it's just like, oh, wow. Wow. Don't we live in interesting times where something like this can happen? It's just insane to me watching this whole thing unfold. And, he paid these guys to fake the whole thing. It's just unreal. And I was reading right before I came on, I was reading that they are removing him from scenes from upcoming episodes of Empire. And it's like the guy has thrown his career away. Very talented actor, talented singer, has probably thrown his career away over this. It's just sad to me. Mark says, this is by no means intended to be rude. If you're a multi-platinum producer, which you are because I Googled you, why are you streaming on Twitch with only 9 viewers? Is it for the entertainment or for a place for your fans? I don't really have fans, man. I'm sitting here doing this because I enjoy doing it. And, well, the other thing, too, is we do this live on Tuesday nights, and it's simulcast to YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. But then it gets put together, and it goes up on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, and Spotify. This has turned into a little bit of a different thing that we normally do. But I was off last week, and so I'm just kind of coming back and getting back into the groove of things like that. Honestly, the main reason is that I don't really tap my large base into coming into this because I wanted to grow Twitch from the ground up. You know what I mean? Like I talk about it I'll do like an Instagram story or something like that, and I'll talk about it, but like the podcast is like, it reaches like 100 to 200,000 people a week. But, as far as Twitch goes, I really wanted to kind of start it from scratch and do it the hard way and not rely on going and pulling all these people from other platforms and things like that to build up Twitch, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I wanted the full experience. I wanted the experience of starting the channel with 0 followers and then looking at the tiers and saying, okay, those of you that are watching on YouTube probably have no idea what we're talking about right now. This is Twitch stuff. But I wanted to do it and say, okay, you reach affiliate, so here's what you got to do to reach affiliate. Here's what you got to do to reach partner. I'm a real goal-oriented person, so I wanted to start from the bottom. Just start it and then reach affiliate and then reach partner and do all that. So we've reached affiliate. That was the first thing we knocked out of the way. And I'm enjoying it that way. I'm enjoying knowing that in the end, no matter where we end up with and how many subscribers we have or how many views we have, anything like that, it will have started at 0, and I've not leveraged anything else other than starting from scratch just like anybody else would. Because, guys, look, y'all, truth be told, I could make one phone call and blow my Twitch channel through the roof. But I don't want to do that. I believe in hard work creates success. And that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to start the Twitch channel, enjoy play. Number one, let me go back to this, is have fun. I own 3 businesses, and on top of my songwriting schedule for my publishing company and producing the records that I produce and doing the TV and film stuff. So it's like I wanted to find something that allowed me to do something that I actually enjoyed that wasn't work related. Even though I have now turned it into a business and we're starting an esports organization, that's me. But I do this because I actually enjoy it. I love getting on Twitch. I love playing. You'll catch me on here, man, playing Fortnite and Apex and anything else, Blackout. I just love it. I just love it. And it's fun. It's almost a release for me. And I don't have many releases. I collect sports cars and stuff like that, but I don't ever have any time to drive them. But I do have time to to do this and get on here and visit with you guys and play some games and have some awesome conversation, answer some questions, and hopefully be able to help some of you guys with the experiences that I've been through. So, Major Happy Pants, subscribe to Tier 1. Thank you, brother, for the subscription. I really appreciate it. Mark says, crush your goals and good luck. Love the honesty and glad you didn't take offense to it. Oh, man, absolutely. Man, it takes so much to offend me. You wouldn't even, unless you say something bad about my wife or my kids, it's hard to offend me. I have been called everything and accused of everything. Guilty of most, oddly enough. All right, I'm going to hop back over to YouTube, see if anybody has anything over there. All right, I don't see anything over there. All right, guys, we've been live for about an hour and a half. I have not eaten dinner, and we're getting close to that point where I need a cigarette real bad. So, if anybody has any last-minute questions you want to throw in the chat, put them in there right now, and I will get to them before we get out of here. The people that are going to download this podcast on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, and Spotify are going to be so surprised when they get into the meat of this pod. This is not what we normally do. But, guys, I hope that I can't do it, man. I tried. I can't do it. I got to quit smoking, though. In all seriousness, I do. I'm 42 years old. I got to quit smoking. But I tried e-cigs. I tried vaping. I couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. Nevertheless, everybody that came over from Janelle's stream, thank you guys so much. A lot of you followed the channel, and a couple of you subscribed, and I missed it over here while I was over there. I apologize if I did. Thank you guys for following the channel and for being here with us tonight. Like I said, this is not what we normally do, but when she raided the channel and brought all her people over, I knew we were going to have to contextually kind of back up a little bit. But I would encourage you, please, if you haven't already, follow the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever it is that you want to do, but come hang out with us. We do the Steve Freeman Podcast every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Central, and we are on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Next week, we are adding Instagram to the fold, so we'll be live on Instagram as well. And you can follow me everywhere on social media at the Steve Freeman. If you're on Twitch, come hang out with us, man. Come play some games with us sometime. I'd love it. I'm trying to nail down a regular schedule where I can, do it more often because I enjoy it so much. But if you want to go back and hear a lot of the other things that we've done, you can find all of the Steve Freeman Podcast episodes, Season 1 and 2, are all available on demand on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube as well. Guys, thank you so much for being here, and I end every show, if you're new, with this. Keep pressing the boundaries. There's nothing wrong with being independent. Guys, thank you for being here tonight. I will see you in the next one.
Curtain call, guess I want it all, anyway at all. Thought I missed it by waiting for the game respond, for the lost and found, for the home.